Alright, I thought I'd try something a little different on this video. I ran out of space on my phone, so I had to speed everything up 1.5 times. This is Corian solid surface countertop material. It's a very durable material. It's used a lot in commercial construction on countertops. It's easy to work with regular woodworking tools. These knife blanks are Camillus M3 trench knife blades. They were made at the U.S. factory before it went out of business in 2007. Drilling the holes out, kind of making washers to stack up on the handles. I got an engraving bit for my Dremel tool that worked really well for removing the material from the inside there. On the pieces of Corian, I actually left a little bit of a space. I didn't want them to fit too snugly because I wanted to have a little bit of room for the epoxy. I ordered a piece of copper to make the guards with. I ended up ordering that off of Amazon. I had a hard time finding it anywhere. I looked at Janet's Knife Supply, but it would have cost me almost $30 with the shipping. And on Amazon, I got it for like $13, shipping included. Just marking my centers for the holes to be drilled. After I got the initial holes drilled, I cleaned everything up with a file. It was a lot of file work to get those pieces fit just right. I spent 3 afternoons filing all the copper. There's my little helper. Just checking to see where I need to cut the copper off at. And more filing. More filing. Does it fit? No, it don't fit. File it some more, and some more. That's one of the pieces, or actually that's one of the pommels. I left them. I made sure they fit on the tang pretty snug, so when I assembled the handle, I was able to smack it down with a hammer, and it kind of locked everything in place and held it in place while the epoxy cured. Come on. Just taking a little bit off the tang. Add some rough edges on it. So that way the pommel would fit it a little better. I guess I should have cut this part of the video a little bit shorter, but it drives home the point. It was a lot of file work. Does it fit? No, it still don't fit. Alright, there's what it looks like after I got all the Corian and the copper fitted. And in this clip, I'm roughing up. I already roughed up all the pieces for the handle. I was roughing up that last piece of copper for the pommel. That way the epoxy would have a little more to grab onto. I used a 5-minute epoxy. I do not recommend using 5-minute epoxy. Get something that takes at least an hour to set. But after going to 3 stores, nobody had anything that took longer than 5 minutes to set, so I finally just bought 5-minute epoxy. It actually took me 7 minutes to get the handle epoxy together, and when I got to that last piece, it was already starting to thicken up on me a little bit, so it was almost too late. So if you're going to epoxy a knife handle together, make sure you get something longer than 5-minute set time on your epoxy. Mix it up real good.
Yeah.
I also sanded the tang so that way it would roughen up the surface of the tang, so it'd give it a little more for the epoxy to grab onto.
Hey guys, please chill out.
I guess y'all can hear the dogs in the airplane. Can't even sit outside at night to try to do this. It's a little too noisy in the house. I don't know how well this is going to pick up because I've never done this before. And on with a pommel, and I have another piece of Corian cut with a slot so the tang will fit through it, and I can beat down all the washers onto the handle. And now it's ready to set. I let it sit overnight, and now the epoxy is cured, and I'm painting over the end of the tang onto the pommel. That will be a nice tight fit. It should never come loose. I just sanded down two sides and the top of the handle so they were even with the copper. Looks like the camera adds about 20 pounds instead of 10. Here's what we got. Corian works pretty easily. That's a rasp I'm using. I took the material off really well. Since the copper was soft, I was also able to do a little bit of shaping on the copper with that rasp. When you're shaping a handle, whether you're using a rasp or if you're using a machine, you always got to keep moving. You don't want to file on one spot for too long. You end up with flat spots or be lopsided. It just won't look right. So you always keep moving, kind of keep things in a circular motion. Finger grooves shaped and just rounding off the end of it a little bit. I peened the end of the tang earlier, and now I'm just sanding it flush. I think that turned out pretty good. I was tired of looking at the point of that knife blade while I was trying to file the guards, so I put some tape on it. And more filing to shape the guards. And my phone ran out of memory right there. The only thing you missed was a lot more filing on the guards to get them shaped, and the final sanding on the handles. So I hope you enjoyed it and maybe you learned something. Thank y'all for watching.